talk about the biggest gap in the surface design market right now, because chances are you're probably making this mistake too. Hello everyone! Welcome to our Business Witness. I'm Ness and I'm a professional illustrator. Today is video 3 out of our 5-part series, and I want to talk about this big gap that I see in the surface design industry. Something that a lot of designers don't do and they really should. You might think that surface design is just about creating patterns. We even hear the term surface pattern design really often, but that's just half of the picture. And if your whole portfolio is just repeat patterns, then you might be leaving a lot of money on the table. Surface design is not just patterns, but I can definitely see why you might think this. This misconception starts from the fact that many of the most popular teachers online only teach about pattern designs, pattern tutorials, and how to make patterns, and pattern this and pattern that. And spoonflower is so big in our industry that a lot of the times when we think about surface design, we think about two of these biggest product categories, fabric and wallpaper. And both of these categories require, you know it, patterns. Many new surface designers enter the industry through spoonflower or by following some of these teachers who have these pattern tutorials out. So of course, it's quite obvious that they would maybe get the impression that patterns are all there is to surface design. But surface design is called that because it just means any design to decorate a product's surface. And that does not have to be a pattern. When you actually look at products in stores, you will see a lot of products that require single illustrations rather than patterns. You will also see a lot of icons, lettering, and even frames and borders. All of these are designs that can be part of surface design. Placement illustrations and lettering especially are very highly in demand with companies. They can go really well with products like greeting cards, gift bags and gift boxes, wall art, puzzles, journal covers, planner covers, apparel like the front of a shirt, for example, rugs, and many, many more. There are so many different things that are required to create beautiful products. And the more variety of these things that you offer in your portfolio, then the more opportunities you will be opening yourself up to. If your portfolio is 100% patterns, then you're missing half of the opportunities out there. Although most of the time I see new designers making the mistakes of having only patterns, no illustrations, every once in a while I see the opposite as well. Only illustrations, no patterns. This often comes from designers who come in from the greeting card perspective, or they were illustrators in another market and then they discover surface design and their brain just works with illustration in mind. One very famous example is Kat Coke. She is surface design queen. She was the original Society 6 queen, and she used to create these watercolor placement illustrations that she would upload to Society 6 to put on prints and all these kinds of products. She did not create any patterns for the longest time, and it's only when she signed with her agency, Jewel Branding, that they told her, you know, you're not making any patterns. We could definitely use some of your artwork with patterns so that we can open up all of these other product categories. I've mentioned some of the products that are really good for illustrations. When it comes to patterns, then we have fabrics, wrapping paper, wallpaper, we have kitchen linens, we have bedspreads, and we see a lot of repeating patterns on things like travel mugs and other small products where it can repeat over the whole surface no matter what the shape of it is. Point is, whether you're making only patterns or only illustrations, that is definitely a mistake. Mixing patterns and illustrations, as well as things like lettering, icons, and frames and borders, can really help you create a much stronger portfolio, one that is a lot more versatile, flexible, and opens up as many opportunities as you want. Now, when it comes to adding illustrations into your portfolio, especially if you've only been making patterns up until now, there is a little bit of fear sometimes. A lot of artists think, but I can't draw people or scenes. I can't do illustrations. Drawing illustrations can feel a little bit more intimidating than patterns sometimes, especially if you don't have a lot of experience with that. Like if you're used to creating just simple patterns with fun little tossed icons, then maybe you don't even know where to start creating an illustration. But it does not have to be a whole scene. It does not have to have people or characters in it. It can be really quite simple. Simple spot illustrations or even borders can fill this gap really well. Companies are often looking for clean, versatile artwork, not necessarily complicated pieces. And here are some examples of simple placement illustrations that I've sold or licensed in the past. Lettering-based placements are also super popular and they're very easy to do. If you're unsure where to start, I recommend doing a little bit of search on Pinterest or maybe our Google Images to see what kind of artwork is out there and gather inspiration. You'll feel a lot more confident to dive in what you've seen a little bit, what are the kinds of things that you can create. So to summarize, don't limit yourself to just patterns. Even adding a few illustrations or borders can open up entire new industries for you. Remember that in order to have a successful and sustainable surface design career, you need to have many licensing contracts every year. So don't limit yourselves to just one type of design. For that matter, don't limit yourself to a single industry. I see a lot of illustrators who think that they have to niche down and they tell themselves, I'll be just a fabric designer or I'll be a wallpaper designer. And I really don't think that you need to limit yourself like that. The best part about surface design, in my opinion, the coolest part of it, is that you can license the same artwork to multiple different companies, multiple different products. And so you can be paid multiple times with the same artwork. You can double dip, you can triple dip. That's really cool. You can reach out to companies in many different industries and relicense the same piece of art multiple times. So you get all of these opportunities to make money from your artwork. Of course, your artwork is probably going to naturally be better suited for some products than others. For example, if you have a very cute art style, then maybe it won't work for wallpaper. If you have a very sophisticated, elegant art style, then maybe it will work better for wallpaper and for fabrics and for these more adult industries. But I really believe that for each art style, there is a plethora of different products that will fit very well. And so you don't have to limit yourself. Just to give you an example, I've personally licensed my artwork on wall art, greeting cards, gift bags, wrapping paper, fabric, baby clothes, phone cases, rugs, travel mugs, and many more. Even one time, a cat scratcher. That one left me scratching my head a little bit. When you create a surface design collection, if you mix patterns and illustrations, then it creates a very versatile collection that you can pitch to multiple different industries at the same time. Of course, there's more to creating a great collection than just putting patterns and illustrations together. In fact, creating really good collections can be a little tricky, and I've seen many great, talented designers have trouble putting together a strong collection. So in the next video of this series, I want to talk all about collections, how to create amazing collections that art directors will go crazy for. And we'll talk about the top 5 biggest collections mistake that I see surface designers do right now in their collections. I'll see you there.